All right, we are in the Pebble Beach 18-hole cup. So we got this 18-hole course, and this is the first time we've played an 18-hole cup. So they've got it set up. It's a first time ever in golf class we've got an 18-hole course, and we're playing it in a cup as opposed to a regular tournament. And so they've got the way they have it set up is Tuesday and Wednesday first qualifying round, and if you don't make it on Tuesday or Wednesday, or you don't want to, you can do on Thursday and Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday will be the final. And we are still in the first qualifying section on Wednesday. I did the front nine yesterday and posted that video, so it's up. But what we do have today that we didn't have yesterday or any day up to this point is you can now go to Tommy's site, and he does have images, so we do have some bigger images of the hole, which is good. So let's get at it. So we got hole number 10. We got a big par 4 here. So what do we got? We got one. Let me count them up here. We got on the back. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 par 4s. We got 1, 2, 3 par 5s and 2 par 3s. I think if I added my math up real quick, hold on one second. Let me do the math here. Hold on. All right, I was trying to add them up. I thought the other day that this was a par 71 course, but I think it is a par 72. So here we go. Here we go. My notes from what I did in the practice round, the one and only time I've ever played this hole, was I did an APOC and a Titan, and I pulled back to the plus 15 mark and max top spin, 1 left-hand side spin. So if you add an extra mile, max out extra mile, you're going to get the same kind of deal. You'll be a little short on raw distance, but you get the same kind of deal. And I really should have pushed that up to the plus 16 mark, and I ended up, there's a certain distance when you're taking these, like you've got, here's a max wedge, here's a minimum wedge, here's the mid. And I really kind of like to be in this area right here, because this is where you run your top spin, and you're basically, your top spin's going out to where the half would be, half club, mid club. And I was a little bit farther away than I like to be. So I would have liked to have gotten just a little bit closer. So like pushing it up to the plus 16 mark. The other way you could do this is you could up it, especially if you got an extra mile, or if you're using a big topper. You got 100 top spin, you're going to be back here just a little bit further. This might be a spot to bring out a new power 8 ball. And then pulling it back a little bit to give yourself a little bit of room on headwind days. I noticed on the front, there was a lot of the shots on the front that I was able to pull back from the red line to like the plus 6, plus 8 mark, and gave myself room on a headwind day. But on the back, I noticed that there were several of the holes that I was at. I was either at the plus 15, plus 16 mark. And a few of them I did pull back a little bit, and then I left myself just a little bit shorter than I like to be. So there might be a few of these holes on the back that we might want to bring out. Well, we also have the option now. I'm not sure if they've sold any of them yet, but we have the option of bringing out a power 7 ball, but a power 8 ball. There's a couple of these holes that are pretty straightforward that it might be worth bringing out a berserker just so that you could get to the spot. And I am not, yesterday I was convinced, but after watching the backside video, I am convinced that I am not interested on most of these holes of actually getting onto the green, even though we have a shot at it, and we could try and get an Albie or a Condor or a hole-in-one, and I'm not really interested because the greens are super slick and there's no backboard. So like most of the courses that we deal with in Golf Clash have a green, they have a fringe, there's some fairway, and then we're in the rough. And here, this is gone. You have the green and a little teeny bit of fringe, and you are in the rough. And I'm not really interested in catching one of these greens and sliding off, when all I really needed to do was lay myself up right here, make the chip, and get my eagle. That is the goal on these holes, eagle. So we'll see how it goes. And there was one of the holes, hole number 16. I went for it. My opponent laid it up and I went for it. Didn't make it, but I did go for it just to see how far you could get out there and what it looked like. And that I have no notes for us, so I'm just going to have to figure out how to play that hole or how I want to play it. It might be one of those holes that I continue to go for, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But hole number 10. Hole number 10. This hole right here. Is this hole number 10? It is hole number 10. Hole number 1? Yep, hole number 1. I went down there, plus 15, plus 16 mark max topspin, 1 left-hand side spin with a Titan. And I did 0. I just did whatever the wind was on the drive. I didn't add or take off anything. So we'll see. We'll see if we can get that going again. I really would have liked to have been... This really wouldn't be a bad spot to bring out a bigger power ball. If you had a bigger power ball on an extra mile, maybe being at like the plus maybe 18 mark, somewhere in that neighborhood, give yourself some room on headwind days. I'm going to take a Titan. Which way's the wind blowing today? Which way? Which way? We can bring out a mortal ball, just a ball we can buy in the store. And I'm going to go to the plus 16 mark with max topspin with my number uno bag and a Titan. The king of the balls. And I need to get my calculator going before I get hooked up here and have to do the math in my head. We don't want that to happen. So it's whatever the wind is divided by 1.2. I got it going. I'm ready to roll. Let's get ready to rumble. Now he's got that trademarked. I probably can't say that. Sorry about that. Let's get ready to grumble. So my opponent's got an extra mile 9, max topspin at the plus 16 mark. And I'm going to push, like you can see where they were at down there, I'm going to make sure that my ball is a little bit more to the left. And they're going to push the wind back in. And they pushed all of it back in, and that might be... And they're going to do some overpower. That might be too much. I really don't think we want to hit into these holes with a lot, doing overpower like that, because we don't have a lot of control. And it's better to get eagle. That'll be fine. That'll be just fine. Just fine. Just fine, my friend. Right there. I want to be a little more on this side as it's coming down. You can see my ball guide's tailing. It's starting to tail off to the right. 4.3, 3.58 rings. 3.58. There's 3, 5, 6. Hitting it perfect. We'll see if that puts me in the same spot. That's nice. I like that distance. I like that distance away a little bit further back than that. Like if you look at how far I am from the fringe and you take that distance and push me back just that little teeny bit, you start to get into a point where wind starts to really be a factor. And on these short little chips like this, I'd prefer to be up close enough that wind's not a factor. When you run your topspin, you're pulling your ball guide so close to you that the wind doesn't have a chance to actually affect the ball. And I'm bordering on that right there. I think the other day I was just a little bit farther, but now I was in that same area. I think I'd rather be just a little bit closer, like where my opponent was at. So either putting on just a little bit of overpower, but I think day to day, the better way to do it is to bring out a bigger power ball. That way you could standardize your shot, and if you were on a headwind day, you'd be using the same ball, you'd be doing the same setup. You pull back to the same mark, you could go like the plus 18 mark, run your topspin and get you that extra little bit of distance. And the wind from right there did have like here was the flagpole, and I was aiming right here on this side of the flagpole, and it pushed me back to the flagpole. So the wind still had a little bit of an effect on me. But if you're just a little bit closer where my opponent was at, the wind has no effect. All right. Hole number 10 in the bag. Hole number 11. What do we got here? Let's go look at it. Now that we can go look at it, I'm excited about it because, man, when this game first came out and we literally did not have any of these big pictures. And when Golf Clash Notebook came out, I almost cried. That was awesome. Now, my opponent the other day came out here. You brought out a lower power ball, and they did some overpower, and they ended up just hitting it straight and going to stand because of where your pivot points out here. You can't really. The sand trap was strategically placed. It's right in the middle of your damn way. But what I did was I came out and I pulled back once again to the plus 15 mark. So if we had a headwind day, I have no room for maneuver, so I'd have to bring out a bigger ball on a headwind day. But I was able to do it because if you bring out, let's say you brought out a berserker, let's say, because you don't need a lot of other stuff. You don't need the topspin boost. You don't need any of the rest of the stuff. You could bring out a whatever ball you have the most of. That's 4 or 5 power. You can pull it back to the plus 15 mark. That's the cool thing about the plus marks is and you're going to be in exactly the same spot you were with a 3 power ball. Now, it may hit a little bit hotter just because it is a bigger power ball, but theoretically, you're pulling it back to the plus 15 mark. You're not getting any extra bounce, any extra length on your first bounce. It should be exactly the same. So I'm going to pull back to the plus 15 mark, 2 less than max topspin. And I'm doing the rough bump and trying to bleed out so that I stop right there. Once again, stop right up in front and take the short little chip to get on. And I'm going to do -5 on the drive, -5%. So my math is going to be 0.95 times the wind divided by, I'm in max club, so it's 1.2. That's what I'm going to do. 0.95 times the wind divided by 1.2. All right. I have no idea what the wind is. I put a marker and I put in 2, and then when I get done with the equation, I erase the 2, and all I have to do is now put in the number for the wind, and it'll pop out a number. I'm going to sniper in a tight. Sniper in a tight. There was a couple of these holes. I used Titans the other day, but I think a Kingmaker might work better just because you get a little bit more side spin. On this shot right here, you definitely do not want to hit it great to the right. Because that second bounce was definitely... Now, here we go. I'm already in the deal. And I'm going to have a little teeny bit of headwind here. If we're looking down the course, straight up down the course, I am going to have a little bit of headwind that I'll have to deal with. So I hate to do second bounce rough bumps and have to put on overpower. And I don't think I have I really don't have that many 4 power balls. So I mean, if I wanted to bring out a bigger ball, for me the best way to do it is to bring out a berserker, because I have a few of them. But as far as like 8 power balls, I don't have that many 8 power balls. And I don't think I'm willing to waste one right here. Because this is a hole in the weekend round. You definitely just bring out whatever you need. Alright, I'm going to try it with I'm going to switch to a Kingmaker just to cut the wind down a little bit. Not that I think it's going to make that big of a difference, but doing a second bounce rough bump, you never know. You never know. Like I said, I don't like to do overpower on those. Let's buy some Kingmakers. Just so we have a few. 2 less than max topspin. I didn't write down what kind of side spin I'm going to do, so I think that's the flavor. And the other day I had a tailwind and I overpulled it. But with the headwind, I'm almost thinking I should just do it straight up. Whatever the wind is, divided by 1.2 and not take any off. where I had my second bounce, where my second bounce was in the rough with the tailwind, I almost overpulled it. I was pretty close to the sand. I'm going to do the 0.95 and we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I might have to chase the wind around a little bit, so it might be it might be a 10% on a headwind day. You never know. My opponent yesterday was in that same exact spot. Or the other day when I did the practice. I'm going to go to the plus 16. 2 less than max topspin. You can see it wants to curl down. It's like it wants to curl down to the cup. 2.2, 1.75 rings. It's 1.74 and some change, but who's counting? Let's move the ring set, not the course. Puts me 2 rings into power. Of course it does. Isn't it perfect? That was not enough overpower, so I could be in trouble. That was too much overpower. That's why I'm saying on a hole like this where you're trying to do a second bounce, it's really difficult to do overpower on it. It would have been better to bring out a berserker right there and just do it with a berserker. That way I would know that I didn't have to do any stuff. But I'm going to keep working that rough bump because I like it. I was trying to get a little bit greedy there and get on the green the other day. I went out there and I wasn't trying to get greedy. I left myself in front. I wanted to see if I hit the green, if it would actually roll down to the cup. Here we go. Missing the hole by a mile. All right. I think that's the first easy par 4 that I've dropped, which is okay. It's okay. It's all right. Got to leave something for the weekend round. But that is definitely a hole that if we've got a headwind day like that, because we're doing a second bounce rough bump, I'm going to bring out whatever ball it takes to get me to the right spot. I'm going to hit it backwards. That way I might be able to make up a shot. Isn't that how it works? Now we have to make one of these par 3s. Or get an Albie to make up for the dropped par 4. And this is a par 3 right here we have a shot at. So it's sniper, katana, I'm in mid club, so it's 1.1 per ring. But I'm going to play it at max. So I'm going to add on 10%. So I'm going to play it at 1-to-1, even though I'm in mid club. When I came out here the other day, I had a Titan, but it wasn't quite exactly mid, but I think the katana will put me right at mid club, a 2 power ball. All right, whatever the wind is, that's how many rings I'm pulling. I didn't write down any kind of spin at all. Dun dun dun. Come on. Splash screen. There we go. I think I did the rough bump. I did. 4.1. So I'm going to do 4.1 rings. We'll see if I'm over pulling it here. 4-1. And a great. On a fall apart on the back. Is that the deal? Woo! And I hit it great to the left, and I came in on the right. And I think that's one of those areas that where I'm hitting right there, here's the fairway, and here's the sand. And where I'm hitting, this area rolls down. So there's a little teeny bit of a flat spot right here. Right here, there's a flat spot. But if you move on the other side of that, and if you want to hit on the flat spot, you're only like half a ring away from the fairway. But if you move it over to give yourself a little bit of room, you're rolling over the edge. And so if you hit it great to the left, it's on the roll, and it may be one of those areas that you hit it great to the left, but it actually pulls you to the right. Or I could have just over pulled it like 1,000 miles right there, and I still hit it great to the left, and I over pulled it so much the great to the left might have helped me. My opponent moved their rough bump up farther. Trying to get in an area. I think that all of that rough is, you can look back at the rough right there, and you can see where it rolls, like what I was talking about. None of it looks super flat, but that's kind of a tough, I like those kind of rough areas where you've got a spot where it widens out, and then here's the fairway, and you've got a spot like this that you can do a rough bumps, because you can give yourself a little bit more maneuver. But this rough bump rolls in that area. The best type of rough bumps are the ones where you've got that perfect tee rough bump, and you're hitting off here, and here's your fairway, and you can maneuver on this to the left or the right, and it's a nice flat area. But this is like my second, if we're going to take an eye rough bump, this type of eye rough bump is pretty good. But I'm gonna have to take that a couple more times, because you can hit the ball straight up at it, and you don't have to do the rough bump. And it might be better and cleaner to just take the shot straight up and not do it. I don't think I have. Let's see. I do have one practice token. I might go practice that later. Hole number 13. Hole number 13. What's hole number 13? Hole number 13 is a part. Did I miss that one? I did miss that one. Hole number 13. Now the par 4. We're taking this one straight up. I pulled back to the +6 mark, and I was doing 4 1/4 topspin, 3 right-hand side spin. Maybe a rub the right-hand nubs. I was aiming the other day. It seems like, is this the hole? No, I think it seemed like it did push me off just a little, and I was a little bit closer on the left than I had aimed it for. I was trying to go, but I think the deal there was I needed to put a little teeny bit of curl on it. Not a lot, but just like rub the nubs curl, just to make sure that I was going in that direction. We'll see. I didn't write down any plus stuff. I just 0, whatever the wind is, divided by 1.2. Maybe, if I can get an opponent. I think if you were using the notebook app, it's 1.2. With a 3 power ball, it's 1.2 plus 0.1. I'd go first. +6 mark. 4 1/4 topspin. There's 3, 4 and a sliver. I was at the +6 mark. 2 rings off. Kind of going straight down it. 3.4, 2.83 rings. Get lined up somewhat with the wind. There's 2, 8.3. I'm going to rub the nubs and curl. I'm hitting it perfect. Oh, well, it won't matter. I left the katana on instead of switching, but it didn't matter. I'm gonna write katana on there because I think we can play that at the plus. I think what a katana can go to plus 12 maybe. So I do have a little bit of room on a headwind day. If there was a headwind day, I could switch it to a kingmaker. It saves me from having to buy those expensive ass kingmakers. They're at the plus 16 mark, 2 rings off, with a power 75 ball. I think yesterday I was talking about the last tournament being the Players' Championship. It was the Open, not the Players' Championship. Man, that looks like it's gonna stop. Is it gonna stop? It stopped. It did. Hitting it perfect. See if it moves me to the right hand side of the or left hand side of the flagpole. It was on the left hand side of the flagpole. If the flagpole's here, here's the flagpole, here's dead center. It hit over on this side. It hit kind of in the quarter mark on that side, and I was kind of aiming at dead center, so it did push me off a little bit, not a lot. That distance is good. Goodly. I was going a little fast there, though. I'll have to go back and watch that video and see how fast I was going. You could see where my ball guy was appearing and disappearing if I tried to run the topspin out, and so I pushed it up forward so that where it was in a spot where the ball guy wasn't appearing and disappearing. But I had all my topspin ran on, and in that spot, if you miss the flagpole, it's going to go by the flag. It's going to go by the cup about 1,000 miles an hour. That might be one of those areas that either getting a little bit more distance and getting up on the green like my opponent where you're taking a putt, or putting on a 1 or 2 backspin and getting up next to it and taking the shot. If you put the backspin on it, though, by putting the topspin on, I have my first bounce here and then I'm running my topspin. If you don't put the topspin on it, your first bounce is going to go up to here, and then it's going to engage the 2 backspin that you put on, and this right here is more than likely going to get affected by the wind. And so you'll have to make an adjustment for the wind. Hole number 14. Hole number 14. What do we got? This is a par 5. My notes. Hole number 5. All right, my notes say APOC Titan plus 10 mark. I must have ran all my topspin just to try and get down into this area. And then you've got your second shot. I'm in a Grizzly minimum club, and I did a rough bump. Rough bump right there. And the other day, I did 0 and made the Albie on this. And I went back and watched the video, and I'm still not too sure I froze it on that, and I'm still not too sure, but in this area right here, so this rough area, here's the rough area, I typically will try and set my ball up so it's dead center in the middle. So I've got as much room forward and as much room back, so if I've got a tailwind and I'm pulling the wind out, I'm giving myself as much room on that rough before I encounter the sand, and if I've got headwind, I'm giving myself as much room in the rough before I get off the rough, so that if I make a slightly bad pull, I'm still in the rough. Because the most important part of a rough bump is hitting the rough. And the second most important part is getting out of the rough. And I did make the shot with just a straight up shot, where I was at in my club divided by the wind divided by where I was at in my club. But it did seem like it pushed me back to the quarter mark. And I think the other day I did have a tailwind, but it wasn't a straight up tailwind. It was a little bit of an angle. So I think my shot was right. what I think I actually needed to do and what I wrote down on my notes is that I need to adjust it and then push back in 1/4 of a ring. But I'm going to take the shot straight up today and see what happens and make that decision. Apoc Titan, the king of bulls. Man, I'm flying through them Titans. I had like 1,200 of them. And I only use them in tournaments, so I must be using a lot of Titans. I think usually when I practice, I only practice with a Titan. I try and only practice with a Titan. Some holes, obviously, you're going to bring out a bigger ball, but I try and play as much with the Titan, and then if I need to, especially in the weekend round, I might pull out a Kingmaker or something. Typically, I only do that if I need side spin. If you got a 3 mile an hour wind with a Titan and you got a 2.4 mile an hour wind with a Kingmaker, you're still going to have to make a pull. The wind divided by 1.2. And I am not interested in doing any overpower. Now I will say that I wasn't that far away. Like if I brought out a bigger ball, and I don't know that, now my opponent did, but they took the risk of getting into the rough right there, that I wasn't that far away from getting into my thorn, but you had a great rough bump shot at minimum long iron, so it's not that bad a deal. Plus 10 mark. Max top spin. Max side spin. Want to be. Does that put me 4 rings off the rough? Pretty dead center. I'm going to move over just a little. There's 2.5 rings at the plus 10 mark. 3.33 rings. Here's 3. And perfect. Man, I thought I hit that great. What do I got there? 372. I didn't write that down the other day. Let me write that down. 372. Let's see what that does. I think that's about exactly where I was at the other day. I was almost thinking, I think this is the hole. There was one of these holes I was thinking that on a tailwind day, it might be better to bring out a, this wasn't the hole. I was thinking I could bring out a katana, but that's not going to get me where I want. That would be wrong. That would be wrong. Okay, I'm in minimum grizzly, so it's whatever the wind is divided by 1.3. Min grizzly. There's max way up there. There's mid, so I'm in mid. So it's 3.5 divided by 1.3. 2.69 rings. I'm going to do 2.7. And I'm dead center. .69 rings. There's 2.7. Getting it perfect. Getting the hole. Dead center, perfect. It was a little teeny bit on the left-hand side of that flagpole, but that was right there. I would not mess around with taking any wind off. I think Tommy's side had a -5, but -5 maybe from the back tees or something, but from Ricky, straight up, that's 2 times in a row at just +0. I'll take it. That makes up for the par 4 that I screwed up on earlier. So there you have it. Hole number 15. My notes say Titan, Apoc Titan, +8 mark. I like the fact that I'm able to pull back. Now, every single one of these holes, if you got a maxed out extra mile, you can do the same exact deal. Now, if you don't, what you can do is there's a lot of these holes in here, and my buddy Dale Appleby would be telling you the same thing. There's a ton of these holes in here that you could hit with your big topper, because while you might not have the raw distance, if you've got a club, let's say you've got an extra mile, it's only got 50 topspin, and there's shots here where I'm doing 100, or I'm doing the 85 topspin, and you don't have that extra 35, even though you're at 234 or 230 with your extra mile, if you've got a mid-level, lower developed extra mile, and your big topper's at 217, you got 100 topspin. And so you can make this distance difference up pretty quick with that topspin to get you up into these areas so don't discount your big topper. I know I don't see a lot of people play with it, but it is a great club, and this course might be the way. Now, when I took this shot the other day, I was trying to, with the Power 3 ball, you've got a little bit of room in here, and I was trying to pull back a little bit from the red line, and I ended up right here on the fringe. I came in right along the line with the fringe. And I might want to put just a little teeny bit of curl on it. This might be a good spot for a Kingmaker, so you got more side spin to try and take you towards the cup. We'll see. Let me start off with a Kingmaker just so that I can see what that looks like. I'm pulling back to the +8 mark. You actually could bring a katana on this on a tailwind day, and you're going to get the same result. If you had a headwind day, you could bring out a Kingmaker to make up because you are pulling it back a little bit, and then it gives you, I'm at the +10 mark, and it gives you up to the +16 mark to pull out headwind. Is that right? I know I'm pulling back to the +8 mark, excuse me. And I only put on 2 topspin. APOC, Titan, +8 mark. I have 2 numbers here. I have 1.5 topspin and 2. I think I did the 1.5. I think I played this and then I timed out, and then it kicked me forward and put me in my rough iron, and when I actually went out there and played it, I did the 1.5, and the 1.5 was almost too much. It would have been perfect if I would have been more to the right and got on the green. 2 divided by 1.2. The wind divided by 1.2. +8, 1.5 topspin. We shall see. We shall see. Man, I'd put all that side spin on. All the side spin. You can see they're still, where their ball guy was going out, they're still angling towards that edge where I ended up the other day. They put a little curl. Did they put a little curl on it? It looked like they put a little curl on it. That's going right towards that edge. And that seemed like it was kind of like right where they were aiming. Now I might have got pushed off, and I might need to be doing like a +10 or something on the drive here. That puts me right on the limit. I want to be going right down the middle of that. 3.7, and I'm right at the +11 mark. Man, that might be too much topspin. We're going to say 3.08, 3.1 rings. There's 3.1. Oh, and I hit it great to the right. I think I'll be all right. Now it's all about whether I hit it too fast and blow off the back. Whew, that was... I will tell you, I think that it's better to end up taking short chips and not messing around with these greens, because there is no room for error on that. And I think I'm gonna keep my notes. I'm gonna change my notes here, and I'm gonna play that with a kingmaker. And that way I can pull back a little bit from the red line. And if I play it at the plus 10 mark, I think maybe one and a sliver, plus 10, and 1 1/4 topspin. Because that was dangerously close to going off. Perfect. I don't like those kind of putts either, so I'd rather take the chip than that putt. I will miss that putt more often than I will miss the chips, because those putts that are going at an angle like that are not my favorite way of doing it. All right, here we go. Hole number 16. 3 holes to go. 16, and this is the one that I don't have any notes for. So what I did the other day was I came in and I did a max overpower shot, and I tried to do a max overpower where I could push my first bounce up here, and I tried to gut it over to the other side to clip that rough and just bleed out. And what happened is I ended up right here in the sand. I wasn't that far away. I actually wasn't that far away. So like maybe, but the deal with trying to get all the way over there is headwind days. You're gonna have to do something. You're gonna have to reinvent the wheel every single time. You can get too far down in here where this tree becomes a factor. So if you're laying it up, this is another one of those holes that the wise choice could be to not, if you can get into this zone right here, you're fine. I suppose if you had a topspin boost ball, but you're still doing overpower. I'm not sure I want to do that. I'm just laying it up right here. Shit, this is a sniper. This is another hole that you could probably do sniper on. The last hole, you have some options, but there is the option of doing a sniper on it. And this hole might be another one of those ones. If you find yourself underneath of this tree and you're just having problems with it, just lay it up out here with your sniper and then take another sniper shot to the cup. I'm not so sure if you were at distance and you had the right ball that you couldn't do a rough bump right here and try and bring it back around. Like if you had a 4 side spin ball, or if you had a bigger side spin ball, there might actually be a rough bump from here if you had, if you were out in here and you had a runner, or if you were in long iron distance out here and you had a Goliath, you might be able to get it all the way to the cup and do a rough bump. I'm going to use my practice token here, and let's lay it up out there in the field and see what it looks like out in the field, because I'm not going to go for it. I'm just going to lay it up out there, and let's see what our options are. Let's make sure we got a bag that has a Goliath in it and a sniper. Here, let me go switch my bag up. Let me run a bag that's got a couple different clubs in it. This one here, let's switch that to a sniper. I got 68 topspin there. What do I got? I'm going to bring my Cataclysm. It's got more topspin. And my Goliath. I'm not sure. The runner does have more topspin, but I don't think we're in short iron range there. I'm going to bring it tight. We'll bring it tight. Let's go practice that one time. Let me see, because I got nothing. I got nothing on it. Let's practice it once. We'll waste my last practice token right here. Right here on this par 4. The other way to go on this is if you have a collection of precision balls, go for it. And if you don't make it, you're probably going to be in the distance that if you hit it perfect, you got a good shot of getting in the hole. rough is no longer your enemy with the Nirvana. The long iron or rough irons. That's what it is. Your Goliath is the biggest hitting long iron you have at 135, and the Nirvana hits 135. So yeah, I mean, it just seems like you could get over there. Where's my second bounce? Yeah, I'm just not going to do it. So I'm going to pull it back. Probably don't. Should I, from here, I could probably take that. I'm going to bring out a bigger ball just because the second shot, it might help me. I am going to just like lay it up. There's 3 topspin. 4, 3 rings is 3-6. That looks like about the right wind. Perfect. Just laid it up out there. Just lay it up. So make sure we don't get behind the tree. I know I could have played that with a lower power ball, but let's bring out the bigger ball just so that we see where we are. I actually think I'm going to be in short iron there. That's definitely short iron range, so I'm going to be in thorn from right there. For sure. Hell, I might even be in like minimum thorn. My thorn hits 1.7, 2.3, 3.5. Let's see where my opponent ends up. They were a little bit closer, but I think they're clear of the tree. I think they're okay. I got clippers in my car if anybody wants to go out there and work on those trees. I'm not saying. I'm just mentioning. There's max. There's min. There's mid. I'm gonna say I'm in mid club. That's 2.3 per ring. That's about a ring. I mean, I could deal with the fractional math, but I'd probably round it up. So I'm just gonna do 1 ring. That's 2.3. Hitting it perfect. Just a bit outside. So it's 2.2 divided by 2.3 would have been 0.95, and I would have rounded that up, but I probably should have did 0.9. I probably should have rounded it down. 2.2, 0.95, 0.9. Let's see what this is. 0.9 divided by 2.2. Let's think about what I'm going to do there. I think I'm going to go straight up to the cup -1. So it'll be whatever the wind is -1. And I'm going to stick with that ball. Just trying to think about where the max was. I'm going to stick with what I did there. Let me go back, because this is the whole thing about why it's so damn important to record your own video. Now, I'm only doing this because do you get practice rounds? Number 16, hole number 1. I'm only doing this because I can't stop the video and go back and watch it while I'm shooting the video. But it's so important to record your own video. And I had an APOC and a Titan. And where did I pull it back to? I was orange ring off of that. With 3 topspin. So I had 3 topspin. And I was orange ring off. And then I got a thorn to the cup. And I'm at mid club, which is 2.3 minus 0.1 to cup. Alright. Exit replay. Let's do it to it. We got some notes now on that hole. Titan, the king of holes. Here we go. Here we go. Getting out on the course, playing some golf clash, but of course. Dunner says I can't use the same word to rhyme with the same word. But that's one of those English words where we're doing the same word, but it means something totally different. Okay, it was 3 topspin. I was orange ring off. Was I in that area? I think I was. 2.8 divided by 1.2. And I'm actually not at max club, but I'm going to do a max pull. If I can get lined up with the wind here. 2.33 rings. And I'm still not lined up with the wind, but it's too late now. Hitting it perfect. Just rolling over the top of the hill, nothing special. I'll have to go back and watch that and see how much side spin I put on, because I don't think I put on all 3, but I might have. And yes, I could use a smaller ball, but it'll change where I'm at in the second shot. I'll have to go back and diagnose that and see where I was at max and where I was at when I was at min, and see like where that mid is. And if I brought out a 2-power ball, would it put me more in mid, or would it put me more in the 3/4, where now I'm in between mid and max? Mid club. It's the wind divided by 2.3 minus 0.1. Thorn to the cup. Let's see where the max was. There's max. I'm going to be back just a little, so I can run it up just a titch. Be going right at the flagpole. Maybe. 4.4. 1.81 rings. There's 1.81. Oh, and I hit it great. I have to go back and look at that. I thought I hit it great. Well, maybe I did hit it great on the right. I thought I hit it great on the left, but this is why it is so important to record your own video, because you're in the moment, you're playing. You're not paying attention to the little details. This is why you have a caddy. The caddy's the one paying attention to that stuff, and they can go, hey dude, you did this, or you did this, and we don't have a caddy, so the only way we can do it is to record our own video. Get a screen recorder. There's a bunch of them out there. You can find them in the Play Store. The one that I use isn't in the Play Store, and I'm not so sure that the new ones you can't, because they have issues with the overlay stuff, and this gives you the access to the pen. And I have another pen that I think is in the Play Store, but I think they took DU Recorder out, I think they took it out for two reasons originally. Number one was the pen, and number two, you could upload videos to YouTube, and YouTube was bitching about it. There you go. Well, we saw me get one eagle on it, and then you saw me not get an eagle on it. So it is possible. You just got to hit it perfect. Dang it. Dag nabbit. And that was right there if I'd have hit it perfect. That was right there. Right there. All right, mid-thorn, 2.3 Titan. I brought out a Titan on this hole too. All right, so mid-thorn. It's 2 divided by 2.3. I'm going to bring a Titan once again. A Titan. Titan is chosen. My notes say, and I'm not sure where the break is on it, but if the wind is what I put on my notes, and it could be higher, but I put if the wind is less than 2.5, I'm going to do +1, and if the wind's over 2.5, I'm going to do +2, but it might be like at 3 miles an hour that I'm going to up it. I'll have to go through and do the math. I just wrote that down real quick. %, if you had a 4 mile an hour wind and you did 10%, that's 4.4, and it was a little too much. But a 10% might actually be better. I'm not sure. I'm still trying to work out what I want to do to the cup. Now I want to be more on where my opponent's at, where I'm off the green. It seemed like when you got onto the green, it got compressed a little. See how the bounces are a little compressed right there? It's almost like you're doing backspin where they got these really high bounces. And it seemed like if you were off the green a little bit, maybe not. I was thinking if I hit down here on my first bounce and then bounced over that hill, that I might get a better ball guide to the cup. Right there. If they did plus, no, they were on the wind side, so they overpulled it. Okay, there's min. There's max, so there's mid. I was just thinking if I got down here, then the ball guide might be a little truer. Roll into it 3.5. It's 1.52. Man, I'm gonna do 1.62, so 1.6 rings. Hitting it perfect. I needed to pull it. That was the deal. I was over the 2.5 if I'd have did the +2 instead of the +1. I moved my shot back a little from where I was because I was on the green, and I moved it back a little bit in order to get my ball guide to run out so that I had a better tail on my ball guide, and I thought I was more towards minimum. And so if I would have played to my notes and actually did the +0.2 right there, that would have been in the hole. And I like that spot a little bit better. That's actually a hole. I'm going to change my notes. I think that's a hole that I could bring a katana, and it's not going to throw me off. It'll actually put me more towards the mid, a truer mid. And instead of, let's go look at the hole. That hole number 8. Is that right? Are we? No, that's not right. How is that right? Man, that hole does not look the same. Does that hole look the same? That does not look like that does not look like the hole we just played. At all. That looks like one of the earlier holes. I could be wrong, but that does not look like the hole we just played. They got that right? What is the hole number 12, which is 10, 11, 12? That's that one. Man, that hole just did not look like what we just what. It does not look like what we just played. Because on this hole, that rough bump is right there. This looks like one of the holes we played on the front. Maybe they got their pictures wrong. Is that right? Yeah, I guess that's right. All right, hole number 18. Need to get an Albie here. Let's see if we can get the Albie here. So this is the hole I was talking about that I would this tree is in the way, but you can hit underneath of the tree, and there is a rough bump that you can do to the cup. And I'm actually going to go for that. I like that rough bump that was there, but I'm not so sure that, like, if I'm gonna do it again and see if it bites me in the butt. But it did. I'm gonna see if it is repeatable, where there is that rough bump and the tree's not in my way, where I can hit underneath the tree. But if you're having any problems with that, I really do think that this is a sniper hole. You hit it out into this area right here, and then you're clear of the tree. You got a straight up shot to the cup with your sniper. Wouldn't be a bad deal. But I'm going to try and hit it out into this area right here. I used my APOC and a Titan. I pulled my shot back to the +3 mark, and I did 4 topspin. So I had plenty of room on a headwind day. I wouldn't have to change balls. And it put me in mid-club with my Grizzly. So you could bring out a Katana here. And if you pulled it back to the +3 mark, what is it, +10, +12, you'd have plenty of room to work out headwind. And on your second shot, instead of being in mid-Grizzly, you'd be more towards max. The deal there is that if you had a headwind day, you may have a hard time on your second shot pulling the wind out in order to take the Grizzly shot. So you could run into problems. So I'm just going to stick with the Titan. And you really didn't need any side spin, so the Titan will be fine. Titan would be fine, just fine. That bag right there with the Titan. Let's go. +3 mark, 4 topspin. +3, 1. It is the wind divided by 1.2. Whatever the wind is, divided by 1.2, +3, 4 topspin. Pokey goes first. Pokes fan? I'm going to call him Pokies. Now I suppose you could bring out a big ball and you really could try and go for it. You just try and get up there. Especially if you had a precision ball that had some stuff on it. You could go for it. You could. And they've still got that rough bump shot. That rough bump looked a lot better when I took it than what it looked like right there. Man, that looked grim. Okay, I'm at the where am I at? I'm at the +3 mark. With 4 topspin. Just going out in that area right there. 3.2. Actually, I think I should set my shot up a little bit more to the right. 2.66 rings. 2 2/3. That's 2 2/3. And a 75,000 ring right to the left. And that is why I was thinking I should pull my shot off, because it looked like it was going to run right into that roof. Just like that. That's why I was thinking. I normally like to set my shots up so that if I hit it great to the left or the right, I'm so far away from it, like especially on a green or a fairway that's that wide. Now let's see if they pull back from the red line. Dude, pull back from the red line. I mean, pull back and and if you pull back to your underneath the tree, then you can run your topspin and you could do a topspin shot. Now they have a thorn, so they can do a backspin shot. They can. They didn't even look at it. I mean, they probably just didn't dawn on them that there's a rough bump if they get underneath the tree. With my Nirvana, I don't think I have enough topspin to run and do the rough bump. I might, but I don't think I do. I might. And I'm going to do plus 10 to the cup. 1.1 times. Let's find out where I'm at in my club. There's max. There's mid. So I'm about mid club. So it's 4 per ring if I can do that rough bump from here. I think I can. I think I don't have enough side spin. I don't have enough side spin to do it. Look at how close that second bounce is. Man, I don't like that. So it's divided 1.1 times 3.3 divided by 4. It's 0.9 of a ring. I gotta hurry. And I hit it 5,000 rings. I hit the other shot 2 rings straight to the left and hit that one 2 rings straight to the right. Let's wait till the last hole before we screw up everything. With 0 time left. Zero. All right. In the hole. That was not exactly the round. I did pick up that Albie, but I did drop the one easy par 4 and still shot a 31, but I think you're going to have to shoot a better than a 32 in order to have any shot. Any shot. And there's a 32, but I think you'll have to shoot better than the 32. And they let's see how they did. They did get one Albie on hole number 2. But they picked up, let's look at all the par 4s here. Hole number 1's a par 4, they got it. Hole number 2's a par 5, they got the Albie. Hole number 3's a par 4, they got it. Hole number 4, they got it. They missed the par 3. Hole number 6 is a par 5, they got their eagle. Didn't pick anything up. Par 3, they didn't pick anything up. They did get the eagle on that par 4, they did get the eagle on that par 4. On hole number 10, we got a par 4, they got it. They got number 11. This was a par 3. Hole number 13 was a par 4, they got it. Hole number 5 was an eagle, they got a par 5, they got the eagle. Hole number 15, this par 4, they did not get. They dropped that one. And that's going to be I think that's the hardest one in the game as far as the par 4s go. That's the one where you had to hit down underneath the tree and then you could try and get over the sand. Hole number 16 is a par 4, they got it. They missed that one and then they got it. So they got I missed that one, they missed that one, but I missed that one earlier, par 4. And one of these par 4s, and they got it. And we both got an Albie. So right there, that's a pretty basic 32, and you do have shots on those par 3s. You do. I've made one of them. Not today, but I have made one of those par 3s, so there's definitely opportunities. And did I get 2 Albies? I did get 2 Albies. I got an Albie on the front and the back, so I must have really screwed up. I must have missed a couple of holes. How did I get the Albie on the front and I didn't get, what was hole number 11? That's par 4. What? Okay. I was thinking regular golf class. This was a par 5 and I got the Albie, but on hole number 11 it wasn't a par 5, it was a par 4, and I didn't get this one. And then hole number 14 was another par 5 and I got that one. So I left quite a bit out there. There's a lot of room for improvement here, because I look at hole number 8. This was a par 4. I should have got an eagle on that. And hole number 6 I did. Hole number 5 was a par 3. Hole number 4, 3. Those ones were good. Hole number 11, I dropped the hole number 11. I should have got that one. That should have been a 2. Hole number 13, I got that one. Got that Albie. Hole number 16. This is going to be a tough hole. That might be the toughest par 4 on the course. So, but looking at what I did, because I got it in the practice round, so it's definitely doable. I just didn't hit it perfect or I didn't add on the numbers right. And then 17, I didn't add on the numbers right there either. So there's lots of opportunities to get better than a 32. But I think you'll have to shoot at least a 32 in order to be in contention. But really, we want to be plus 32 in the weekend round. There you have it. That was the back 9 for the 18-hole Pebble Beach. Brand new course. Hopefully everybody is having a good round. Hopefully the videos are helping. There's a lot of these holes that I think a lot of people are going to go out there and they're going to get aggressive on, and there's a lot of these holes that you don't get aggressive. Don't try and get on the green. Just lay it up in front and chip it on, get your eagle, and move on to the next hole, because if you hit the green, there's a good chance you're going to slide off into the rough. All right. Hey, thanks for being a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a comment, do all that good stuff, and I appreciate it. And I will see you on the next one. Stay safe, and thanks for watching.